The last great American wagon, Roadmaster. Buick's swan song of an era defined by Route 66 road trips, rock and roll, and a blatant disregard for birth control. With seating for 8, it fits the whole family, plus the kids from your second family with comfort and ease. But what is it that makes this humble estate so great that subsequent offerings failed to capture? Well, with its body-on-frame construction and 5.7-liter small-block V8, it could either be a civilized workhorse and tow 7,000 pounds, or satisfy your inner Cletus and smoke the rear tires off the line. "I got the one with the Corvette motor," your dad would exclaim. The children shrugged, but he was proud. Now, most commonly, you'd see these wagons sporting faux wood grain vinyl siding, harkening back to the woody wagons of the 1930s. But this one came optioned with the factory wood grain delete, or WB4 package for you RPO code sluts out there. That makes it quite the rare bird indeed. And I wouldn't be a proper GM owner if I didn't tell you how special and rare this spec is. This here is one of only 609 examples ordered without wood grain for the 95 model year, making it rarer than many high-dollar supercars. Eat your heart out, Ferrari. Whale ho! At a portly 4,600 pounds, stretching the span of 3 zip codes, it's no wonder the Roadmaster is affectionately referred to as a whale. With its rotund physique and gleaming white paint, onlookers regularly mistake it for a beluga barreling down the interstate. But contrary to the sea-dwelling mammals it resembles, this beast harbors considerably less barnacles. Now approaching 30 years of age, it's hard to find too much fault with the exterior of this car. Sure, the front bumper is cracked and freckled with stone chips, the grille's missing a tooth, and the paint could use some exfoliating. But I'm 30 now as well, and I can say all the same for myself. But thanks to its upbringing in the Pacific Northwest, you won't find a speck of rust on the body, with the underside only showing mild surface rust, easily remedied with a light wire brush. The wheels are 15-inch Krager SS, giving it that muscle car flair, though nobody will be mistaking it for a Camaro anytime soon. It really is a cream puff. A giant marshmallow, perhaps. The only dirty laundry worth mentioning is at the front of the car. Under previous ownership, it was reported to have been backed into in a parking lot. The front bumper was replaced by one from a donor car, as were the headlights, and it received a new driver's side fender all painted to match. Other than that, she's an all-natural granny, just the way I like 'em. Sometimes I truly believe that there's an 80-year-old man living inside of me. My doctors say it's because I stopped taking my meds, but I think it's because I have this indescribable fascination with cars marketed for the elderly. Where else can you find an interior this blue, with pleated leather sofas for seating? All I want to do is sit in here and watch an episode of Matlock until I fall asleep. But I digress. As with the exterior, the interior is also relatively clean and orderly for its age, though it did take a bit of finesse to get it here under my ownership. The main concerns were broken and missing interior trim. The door panels had seen better days, with their plastic wood accents mostly cracked and falling off. And numerous clips were missing, leaving the door hanging in the wind to flap freely. Underneath the stained and ripped carpet was an unusual patch of rust, one of only a couple on the entire vehicle. These items I fixed first and foremost with a bit of scavenging from junkyard cars for the door panel bits, and I tended to the rusty wound. Not pictured was a single-din aftermarket head unit fit for a teenager's Honda, which I immediately replaced with a factory unit. And if I catch whoever installed that into this car, I will report you to the local authorities. Steadily though, I'm bringing it back to an acceptable condition with a now ice-cold AC and a temp gauge that no longer has a conniption on bumpy roads. There's more work to do, however. It needs new carpet, the rear windows don't roll down, and cruise control is inoperable. But as I sink into the fat rolls of its squeaky leather embrace, my mind wanders to thoughts of my smiling grandchildren, and all the little troubles tend to melt away. You know, 260 horsepower isn't a lot by modern standards, but it's still enough for a good laugh and some fun. Preceding the LS motor, this LT1 power plant was the engine to have in the early to mid-90s. You'd find versions of it in the C4 Corvette, F-Body Camaro and Firebird, as well as the coveted Impala SS. It's since attracted a cult following of loyalists and proven time and again to be a robust and reliable hunk of iron, though it isn't without its issues. Most prominently is the high-tech, for its time, OptiSpark distributor. Scary stories of its unreliability spread around the campfire, striking fear into forum members and future owners. But fear not, for there is hope. To my knowledge, this car still has the original OptiSpark. Its longevity is likely due to additional vents that later models had, allowing it to evacuate excess moisture and prevent the corrosion that kills these things. But sadly, there is another Achilles heel whose affliction no car can escape. Not even this one. The 4L60E transmission. This roadie has had it rebuilt or replaced at least 3 times that I know of. The first rebuild was after 161,000 miles, which is an admirable stint if that was truly the first time. It was then replaced at 189,000 miles, and then rebuilt again less than 200 miles later under shop warranty. We'll count that last one as just bad luck though. Luckily for me, that all took place right before I took ownership. Even still, in the 2 years since I've had it, it's burned a $3,500 hole in my pocket getting it roadworthy. Name a sensor? I've probably replaced it. Everything with a ball joint? Replaced. Cracked exhaust manifold? Replaced. Front shocks, rear shocks, drum brakes, U-joints, alternator gaskets, hoses, wheel bearings, fluids, filters, and Freon, oh my! And that's just scratching the surface. What's left though is mostly minor. A little oil leak here and there, and there's a small exhaust leak too. But even with its remaining flaws, blemishes, and quirks, it's still the master of the road. All hail the whale. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you at the next mile.